So the local community here in Colorado still does not know the Tibetan history of Camp Hale, much in the same way that the Tibetan community still doesn't know much of the history of Chushigandru or Camp Hale. So this place where we are at Camp Hale, Dumra, right, the ranch, is because of the CIA, right? So it was kept secret. However, in 2010, so 14 years ago now, we installed a plaque, which you can see right over here. And that was at a very small invitation-only ceremony. So that was a private ceremony, but a very big deal for the CIA to publicly acknowledge, right, and leave a plaque standing to say that here on this site, you know, the American CIA trained Tibetan resistance soldiers. With the help of a good friend, so Tracy Walters, who is a local resident, and with photographs from Bruce Walker, right, who was a CIA officer stationed here. So we took photographs that Bruce had taken back in 1963 and 1964, and we held them up, we snowshoed in, wearing snowshoes, and tried to match them to the landscape. And one was very easy to find, another was very difficult. This was a photograph of Tibetan soldiers during Losar. And for that photo, you just had to be standing at the exact angle to match to, it was a series of very specific ridge lines. But we found it, and then we took photographs of holding the photos to the ridge, sent those photographs to Bruce Walker, Tenzing Sonam, and Ritu Saran. Bruce looked at the photographs, wrote back and said, we found the site, and shared with us that he had taken the photographs. So they were his photographs, and he confirmed it. And you could say, well, they knew that before. And of course, right, people when they lived here knew the site, but 60, 70 years later, when the camp is gone, when the fence that surrounded the camp was gone, right, when your memory is not maybe exactly the same, and it's very hard to find it. So after the CIA closed the camp in 1964, they eliminated all signs of it. So if you go to that site right now, you wouldn't know that the Tibetan camp had ever been there, that the CIA had been there, right? Because they kept the secret. So they had to tear down the buildings and make the land look like nothing had been there, right? As if it was just a wild area. And so for a long time, this plaque just stood here alone. It became a pilgrimage site for the Tibetan community, right, who when they came to Colorado would want to come here to pay their respects, to show honor for the Tibetan soldiers who trained here. The men who lived together in this secret camp developed close bonds. For the Tibetan men, support from the USA was important. It gave them hope that they could defeat the Chinese. For the Americans who served here, the Tibet operation stood alone. It was different from any other mission in which they would participate. There was mutual respect and admiration between the two groups of men, and a commitment that endured over the decades.